Hey guys, this is the Real Estate Podcast and it's your host, Alex Coffman. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I need you to do me a solid. Hit that subscribe button on your phone if you haven't done so already, and share this episode with just one person. It's going to help us get this information out to more people to learn about entrepreneurship and real estate. Thanks. Now let's dive into today's episode. We want to teach them how to build passive income through real estate. We want to teach them how to make money in and on real estate and be the real estate hustler, be the real estate entrepreneur to go out and be able to survive in any market, any place, at any point in time, and be able to generate business, find deals and income for themselves and their family, and to eventually be able to, retire from everything they've built within real estate.
All right, so welcome everybody to the Kingdom Business Podcast, where we talk to leaders, entrepreneurs, real estate agents, professionals, tax advisors, anybody who knows anything about anything cool. And this is where we talk about how we can use the strategies and tactics in order to gain the resources in order to expand the kingdom. And for my next guest, I'm super excited to have him on. He is a very experienced investor in multifamily and also in recovery homes. And his name is Alex, and we are super excited to have him on board. We're going to have a fantastic conversation. So Alex, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, man. I'm really excited to dive in.
Awesome. All right. Well, so before we start, tell me a little bit about, your background and a little bit about your story.
Sure. So, in short, in business, the first business I started was it was called Fourth Dimension Recovery. And so what we did is we provided interventions and transports for treatment centers and recovery coaching for families and for those who are suffering from alcoholism and addiction. And then shortly after that, started a business within sober living. So Matt and I, one of our properties, we turned into a sober living home. I got out of that industry a couple years after I got into it, and Matt and I were just investing in real estate together. So, all day I'd be working for Fourth Dimension Recovery, addiction management, and really was just in love with investing in real estate. So Matt, my partner, now at TRE, had introduced me to real estate investing. And so basically, all my waking hours was spent thinking about investing in real estate, generating leads, buying rental properties, buying commercial real estate. And so I transitioned out of the recovery industry. And really at that point in time, my plan was just to go full-time investing. So didn't have a big emphasis on getting my real estate license or starting a real estate brokerage or anything like that. It was more just focused on how can Matt and I go buy more real estate. And so we kept doing that. We had bought a few properties, and around May of 2020, Matt at the time had the real estate brokerage, Teifke Real Estate. He had, I think, like 7 to 12 agents or so. And he asked if I wanted to partner with him on the brokerage and come in and help him grow it. And I said, absolutely. Where do I sign? And so since May of 2020, we've just spent all of our time focused on building the brand, building the brokerage, invested in a ton of real estate, over the past couple of years as well. But we've really grown tremendously. So in May of 2020 had 7 to 12 agents or so, no employees. And now we've got about 130 agents in Austin, Corpus Christi, Houston, DFW, and we got a full team, and we're sprinting and not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you touched on a bunch of stuff that I think we can dive into. So
whatever.
But before we do, I want to just take one more step back and just. I believe that everyone has a certain set of gifts or values that or strengths that keeps them kind of centered, and then allows them to leverage and kind of be successful. So what are one or two of your gifts or strengths that you think have gotten you to where you are today?
So I'll try and keep this short too, but I think it'll help paint the picture a little bit as well by not just providing a bullet point answer. But I got sober in 2015. And so before then, from like 11 to 21 years old, my life was just, I was going down the wrong path. And by 21, I was a full blown heroin addict, in and out of jail all the time, selling drugs, not doing anything productive, and ruining my life. And I mean, I was going to die, honestly, if I didn't change. And so I got sober in 2015. And since then, my life has, turned a complete 180, and I'm a completely different person than I was, prior to getting sober. But if I were to say two things that have, helped get to where I'm at today, it would definitely be relationship with God, and really, in any moment where there's uncertainty or fear or, not knowing where to turn, always being able to turn back there.
Yeah.
And then number two is, which has kind of provided the confidence from number one, is being able to just figure things out, like not needing to know every single answer, and not needing to know an exact path, but just saying, hey, this is where we're going, and we'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there's a really interesting dichotomy with that kind of mindset, right? Because on the one hand, you kind of like have I want to say the Shark Tank mentality, right? Where you like go in, right, and they're like, oh, like hope is not a strategy, and like all this stuff, right? But they're not looking at it from like a God view, right? I'm listening to this book right now by Andy Stanley called Visioneering. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it. It's all about how to cultivate, your vision. And what he says in that book is that, how is God's specialty, right? You just need to figure out like what it is to go do and have the faith. And like, if it's like God ordained, like he'll figure out the how. So don't worry about that. And it's a balance, right? Because you don't just want to go into something without having any sort of like idea of what's going on. But at the same time, right, you got to figure out like, okay, you know what, like this might not seem possible right now, but with God, all things are possible. So we'll just kind of go by faith.
Anything's possible, man. And it's not so much like an attitude of hope. Just for me personally, like I've realized that all this stuff, all the businesses, the real estate, podcasts, marketing, none of this stuff, none of this stuff is what makes me happy, right?
Yeah.
At an internal, deep level. And like when I was getting sober, and I had absolutely nothing but a relationship with God, that was the happiest I'd ever been in my entire life. And I had absolutely nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I was working at Firehouse Subs, making $8.25 an hour. And so at that point, I realized that that's all I needed to be happy. And so really, like moving forward, it's not like operating from hope. It's just that, like, if it doesn't work out, who cares? It's not the end of the world.
I like that mentality. And I bet you know how to make a mean sub, because Firehouse is really good.
I do. Yeah.
Right on. So let's dive into this sober living thing really quick. So you got sober, and is that what like prompted you to go into sober living homes? And then like, let's kind of dive into the business side of that a little bit.
Sure. So it is, when I was getting sober, I was at a treatment center for 4 months. And when I was at this treatment center, like my life's changing. I'm experiencing God for the first time. I'm happy. Like this is the first time I've been sober for more than a few days for 10 years, right? So it's like I'm truly reborn in 2015. And so I'm just really happy. I'm learning new things. I've got a relationship with God. I'm helping other people, new guys as they come into the treatment center, helping those guys out. And so looking at the employees of the treatment center, I was like, wow, this would be a cool job. And like, I'm the most fulfilled when I'm helping people and when I'm helping others grow closer to God. And so it's like, you know, if this could be a job, that would be amazing. And so at that point in time, that's where I said it would be great to, manage sober living houses. It'd be great to become a counselor. It'd be great to, work at a treatment center or own a treatment center. And the opportunity presented itself probably when I was about 2.5 years sober, maybe 3 years sober. But it changed, and it didn't fulfill me to be on the business side of it.
Interesting.
I really enjoyed the volunteering side of it, but when the business side of it came into play, and when I realized they're businesses, they need to make money.
Yeah.
It's not all about helping people. It's, if they don't make money, they can't help people. And so I just didn't like that aspect of the recovery industry. And so I was in it for heavy for like a year. We were trying to build and grow the business, but my heart just wasn't in it. Like, I didn't want to charge people thousands of dollars for something that I was willing to do for free, but I had a partner, and we had a business, and I have a duty to him and to this business to have this business be successful. And it just didn't sit right with me. And so him and I ended up parting ways, and he took the company, and I went and turned one of our rental properties into a sober living house. And this was a little bit different. It's not so much, it wasn't what we were doing. And, we are providing housing for people. But even then, like, I couldn't go, just like in any business, you got to go and develop business. You got to go meet people. You got to go shake hands and kiss babies and stuff. And I couldn't go and and be fake in front of all these people. Like, I didn't want to go pretend to be this, business developer for my business and the recovery industry. And I just couldn't be fake.
Yeah.
And so I didn't do it. And I have a lot of friends in the recovery industry. And so but that's the way to do it in the recovery industry. To get business, to be successful, is you have to refer clients to other treatment centers in order for them to refer clients back to you. And so at this point, it's really like, I just didn't like, I didn't like human lives being in the middle of a transaction, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go and, pretend to be fake and say like, oh yeah, I'll send you all these clients to do this and that. So the sober living business didn't do that well. I mean, we didn't lose money or anything, but it's not like it was this extremely successful thing. But honestly, I didn't want it to be. I didn't really want to be in that industry and be on the business side of it.
That's interesting. So it's interesting for me on a kind of more of a personal level, because my father and I got this screaming deal in Riverside, California, and it was like, I don't know what it was. Like, it was like a church or something at one point, but it's a single family house. It's on a couple of different parcels on 2.5 acres in the hills. It's secluded, but it's 1.5 miles away from this UC Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a dump. I don't know how he found it, but he found it, and we got it. We locked it down. And then we're renovating this thing, and he's like, I want to turn it into a sober living home. I'm like, why? He's like, well, because you can jam pack 6 dudes in a bedroom. And I'm like, that sounds like a lot of potential liability and stuff. We don't have any idea what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to create just a meth house out there, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how to run a sober living home.
Mm-hmm.
So I got, I've been looking for people who would manage it and just try and lease it out. But I've realized that I don't have that. After talking to these people, a lot of these people have gone through it. And so they know, and they're convicted by it. And I mean, that's just not where our heart's at right now. Like we're just not there. So it's like, okay, like how can I take this and like, partner with somebody who is convicted by it and doing stuff. But so I found this one group and they are like trying to run through like the insurance and do like treatment center, like detox center, like all that kind of thing. And so I'm like, that sounds like good to me, like I don't know. And it, from what it sounds like, is that if you kind of have that heart for people, then it might be harder for you to like run the business side of things versus if you were kind of like detached from it. Because do you think if you were like not, if like you didn't have that experience, that it would be a different mindset for you? Like, could you see it being a viable business like opportunity? Should you?
It's a great business opportunity. It is. Like I said, personally, I just didn't. In that industry or in that realm, I'd much rather just volunteer.
Yeah.
Than have anything to do with business. But treatment centers make a tremendous amount of money. Insurance pays a lot of money for drug and alcohol treatment. Same with like PHP, which is the step down from residential treatment, partial hospitalization, then IOP, which is intensive outpatient treatment, and then you have sober living, and it's a great industry and it's a great business, and it does help people, right? And it's not like this, like I got sober by going to a treatment center, and at this treatment center they really cared and they really helped me, and they saved my life. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't. I believe if I didn't go to that treatment center and if I didn't learn what they taught me, if I would have gone to another one and learned something else, who knows, I may be dead right now. And so it's a great industry, it's a great thing, and it's a great business opportunity for me personally. I just didn't enjoy being on the business side of it, and it just didn't sit right with me. And I'd much rather just volunteer my time. But what's cool though is we shut down the sober living house, and we were going to turn it into an Airbnb because it's a fairly expensive house, and to just get a long-term tenant in there, like maybe it breaks even, but most likely it wouldn't break even and we'd lose money on it. But it's a great property. And so what we God thing, I don't know how this came about exactly, but we're in the process of renting it out after I moved out of there from the sober living house. And I got this call from somebody. It's like, hey, somebody gave me your info, said that, you could, I guess, because we own a real estate brokerage, you could possibly help me locate a sober living home. I'm looking to start a sober living home, blah, blah. And it's like, that's funny. Like, yeah, I could refer you to one of our agents, but I got a spot for you, right here. I used to run a sober living home out of this house, and he's actually there right now. And so the same property is now providing another opportunity for someone who does want to be on the business side of it.
It sounds like it just wasn't necessarily your calling, like, or your purpose.
Not on the business side, on the on the volunteering side, and on the helping side, it definitely is. But just not on the business side. I'm a businessman, and I love and I like making money, and I want to have a successful business. I just didn't enjoy those two things always being in conflict, because on the other side of things, I want to help people and I want to volunteer, and I didn't feel right charging money for what I would do for free.
Nice. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, and you may all of a sudden like find that in the future or something, you come up with some alternative solution or something like that could bring you back full circle. You never know it's gonna happen.
Who knows? At this point in my life, I have completely forgot about the business side of the recovery industry. And I mean, all my friends are sober, and they all work in the recovery industry, and we all got sober together, and all they own sober living houses, or they're the executive directors or CEOs of treatment centers. And but I just I don't see myself ever going back to that.
Never going back. Hey, you know what? That's okay. You did what you need to do, and you found out what's not important. So, um, I think, everyone, you need to find out what you're not called to do too, So
Absolutely.
that's awesome. But then you transitioned into something that you feel like maybe you are more called to, and that's multifamily investing.
Yep. Well,
So,
just real estate in general,
okay.
everything. So, I mean, we invest in single family, we flip single family, we, wholesale, commercial, residential, we buy commercial multifamily, we invest in, mobile home parks, we'll buy anything, but really, I mean, on a real general level, just real estate, everything real estate. We've got a real estate brokerage, we've got a construction company, we got a wholesaling company, management company. Um, and so my life and all of our businesses work together within the real estate industry as a whole.
Yeah. So, what's your favorite asset class in right now?
Um, I used to, if you would have asked me this a year ago, I would have said that commercial multifamily,
Okay.
or industrial, like business warehouse parks.
Mm-hmm.
I really like. But our mobile home park is doing well. It's probably one of our best properties for cash flow, and it's a great location. But honestly, I wouldn't say that there's a specific asset class that I like more than the others. I do like the the mobile home park side of things where there's no expenses. It's just lot
Yeah.
rent, or the industrial side of things where um, you know, net leases, and it's really just like a shell, right?
Yep.
It's a metal shell. So there's not much maintenance or anything to be done there either. But ultimately we just like really good deals. Like if I can buy a $400,000 property for 100,000 at that moment in time, that's my favorite property. If I can do the same thing on the commercial side of things, like that's my favorite in that moment. So really all we're doing is looking for good deals wherever they may come from.
So how are you finding these deals?
In many different ways. We got 130 agents who
Mm-hmm.
we teach to go out and find deals, and they bring us deals. It's what, 138 right now. At 4:30, we're going to meet one of our agents at a property in Round Rock that she found that she wants to partner on. So we teach our agents to go out and find deals, and we will partner with you on it. We'll bring capital, we'll bring the contractors, we got everything in place to get things done. And then Matt, all of Matt's connections, and Matt's our BD guy. So he
Yeah.
goes and he builds relationships with everybody. So they come in through that. We've got our wholesale company. We got 4 or 5 guys who are cold calling owners and texting owners off market all day long. We just find it by reaching out to agents, making offers ourselves. We're just, constantly looking in all these different areas.
You guys are running a business. That's for sure.
Trying.
You guys got some legs.
Yep. Well, thank you.
Yeah. So when you came on, you said there was 12 agents. I think we were talking before I started recording this. Like you had what, like 12 agents or 7 agents or something like that?
Matt said 7. I think he had like 12 though when
Okay.
when we started.
So how did you and Matt, besides just being like super cool dudes, right? And just being like, hey man, like we'll just go for it. Because when I was doing Matt, talking with Matt, he mentioned a couple things like, hey, no fear, and we're just no hesitation. We're just gonna go for it. Like, and so like treating people right, and then like how can they, how can we serve our agents right on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the a lot of the franchise brokerages that are just, I don't know, not really like that. So
Right.
how did you grow it to 130 agents and then develop all of these different things?
Brute force.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, we work really hard. We've worked really hard to get where we're at today. And I still feel like we're at the start line, like we haven't even haven't even begun to go where we want to go. But man, we have something special, and so it's different when you ask like Matt, that question, who talks about these other brokerages and his experiences with other brokerages. But my only experience has been this. I didn't go to KW. I didn't go work for another real estate company. Uh, Matt and I, developed this together, and I learned everything from Matt. And so this has been my only experience, but comparatively speaking to what other things are being offered out there, we offer something extremely special and unique. And it caters to those who are similar to me and Matt, who don't want to be, just the best real estate agent. They
Right.
don't want to be, just a commercial tenant rep agent or broker, right? They don't want to just go sell luxury homes in West Austin or whatever it is. We cater to those who want to get the most out of real estate for themselves. We also don't view, our client is our agents, right? They are our clients. So we don't view the consumer as our client. We're not trying to find, new home buyers or listings and viewing those people as our clients. We're trying to find hustlers. We're trying to find potential future entrepreneurs to come join us in this path to greatness. And we want to teach them how to invest in real estate. We want to teach them how to build their net worth. We want to teach them how to build passive income through real estate. We want to teach them how to make money in and on real estate and be the real estate hustler, be the real estate entrepreneur to go out and be able to survive in any market, any place, at any point in time, and be able to generate business, find deals and income for themselves and their family, and to eventually be able to, retire from everything they've built within real estate.
Yeah. I mean, it's a phenomenal model. Like, I love the idea, and it really kind of circles back to this whole, like, how can we serve you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of mindset, which seems to permeate throughout your guys' entire organization, because I'm sure that they're taking off. You guys have built a culture, it sounds like, that is all about how can we, help others get what they want.
Absolutely. We've experienced great things from real estate and the real estate business in many different ways, and we want other people to experience it too. We think that if someone is just viewing it from one way, like, I'm only going to work with residential listings, and that's my goal, is to be the best listing agent in Austin, we think you're, missing out on 95% of the value of the industry that you're in. Right. And so we want to try and teach this and educate people and show them that, hey, there's all these other worlds and there's all these other things that you're missing out on, and you're leaving opportunities and money on the table every second of every day when only viewing it from that mindset as opposed to this mindset.
Right. So how do you, and I asked Matt the same question, right? Like, how do you stay, I don't know, focused on like what you're doing when it seems like, with like the industry is so big, right? How are you training your agents to be able to go from one like type of deal to another and still be able to like add value? And I guess I said this one to him, like, jack of all trades, like master of none. Right. So how are you taking that approach and, kind of like expanding it out to all these different asset classes, like within real estate versus just the specialized? Like,
Here's the deal. We are the master of one thing, and we are specialized in one thing, and it's finding deals. And so that's all our agents and anybody who wants to be successful in real estate, that's all they need to specialize in order to go into commercial real estate, in order to go into residential real estate, in order to be successful in the hottest real estate market of all time, in order to be successful in 2007 and 2008 and one of the worst crashes of all time. All you need to know how to do is to find deals and you can do anything at that point. You find good deals, you have 1,000 different options of
Yep.
where you want to take it, right? And the opportunities are limitless. And so we specialize in that, and we try and teach our agents to specialize in that as well, because you find good deals, you can go do whatever you want.
That is a brilliant answer, because I think you're right. I get a lot of pushback sometimes for being, I don't want to say the shiny object, like we were talking about a little bit, earlier. But I mean, like if I see something that's like intriguing to me, like in the commercial space or whatever, like I'm not gonna not go explore it. You
Yeah.
know, like that's a warehouse. It's off market though. Like maybe, you know,
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
I,
We
I'll
get
go
a lot of
with
pushback too. I'm imagining that people tell you this because you're talking about it, but people tell us this all the time too. Like, man, y'all are spread too thin. Y'all do this, you do that. And the truth of the matter is that we're not even close to being spread thin, and we're going all in, and we're going really deep on attracting those who want to be an entrepreneur, is what we call it. That's an agent with TRE who is, the ultimate entrepreneur and real estate entrepreneur. They invest in real estate. They make money in and on real estate. They know how to find deals. They specialize in finding deals. And so we're going all in on attracting those type of people. And we're going all in on trying to teach the general public and trying to teach, those who join us and those who are thinking about joining us and those who maybe never want to join us. We're trying to go all in on teaching people about investing in real estate and the opportunities that it can provide for you. And we have great people around us. It's not just me and Matt. We were talking earlier about the podcast. Like, we've got our marketing genius Andrew over here, and then we've got other people on our marketing team. We've got a vice president who's amazing. We've got VAs who've worked with us for 5 years. We've got amazing partners on the wholesaling side, on the construction side. All of our agents are our partners, and so we've got amazing people around us, and we've built this tribe of entrepreneurs who want to go out and find deals, and that's what we're good at.
Yeah. So do you have a pretty in-depth training like program that you guys have developed, or how do you catch everyone up to speed?
It takes time. We do. We have a department within our brokerage called the Agent Success Department. And in this Agent Success Department, we have entrepreneurs who we have as the coaches. We have our entrepreneur curriculum that is taught. And we teach commercial real estate, residential. We teach the traditional, buyers and sellers. We teach off market. We teach property management. We teach, contracts, how to build a business, marketing, all those types of things within this curriculum. And then we have an entrepreneur roadmap for those who want the roadmap of how to be the entrepreneur, of how to start making money in and on real estate with leasing, buyers and sellers, commercial real estate, lending money, investing, wholesaling. And so we have this roadmap for those who want to take this path and who want to become the entrepreneur as well. But it takes a lot of time. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and everybody wants to invest in real estate, right? Like,
Right.
it sounds cool and it sounds like a lot of fun, but it's a ton of work. And, sometimes we have no money. Sometimes we don't know how we're going to get a deal done. Sometimes we don't know how we're going to survive. We got tenants not paying rent. We got lenders saying, hey, you need to pay this. It's a hard life, right? And there's a ton of moving pieces all the time, and you're juggling all these pieces. And so everybody says they want to invest in real estate. And then when it comes time to take action, they start stepping back a little bit, right? And so it takes a long time to educate that person enough to get them to feel comfortable to take that first step. And then from there, when they take that first step, if they really have it in them and if they really want it, then they just kind of go all in and they start to take off, right? But it takes a long time. It takes a lot of education. It takes a lot of us being a role model and of us being an example for them. and showing them like, hey, you can do it. This is how you do it with us. A lot of hand holding, but it's possible, and we've got it there.
Yeah. So do you guys have like, so I'm just trying to like imagine like the onboarding process, right? Some agent comes in and they're like, hey, Alex, like I want to join you guys' team. I know nothing about real estate. So like, or I have a real estate license. I was at KW, whatever. I know how to, I was a buyer's agent, right?
This is the way it works. Is Matt brings him in. Matt and the business development department, they handle all sales, and so the agents come in. They go through the onboarding process of paperwork and contracts and switching licenses over and all that stuff, which is really fast and seamless. And then boom, they get connected with our agent success department head and our vice president, Lexi. And then they start onboarding. So every single week we have our onboarding sessions into the agent success department. And this typically takes about 2 to 4 weeks to really go over our core values, to really go over what it means to be an entrepreneur. We get them to set goals. We get them to set their KPIs, their key performance indicators. We get them to build out their accountability chart, their business plan. And then from there, they start joining our courses. They get connected to our coaches, and they have weekly accountability meetings on a weekly basis. They go to the classes. We give leads to them, and they just start to kind of navigate their own path within the entrepreneur curriculum.
So you're actually providing leads too.
Yeah, we provide leads when they come in. We don't have a huge emphasis on it, but the agent success department is the only place we give leads to, because they're the ones who should need it. Right. We have two models. You have the agent success department, which is where you start off, where if you're below a certain production value, you go into here to learn, to get practice, to get leads, to get the coaching, to get all that stuff. Right. And then you graduate from there. So that's a 12-month commitment. And then once you are in there for a year, and once you show you've been working on things and doing better, you can stay there if you want to. If you want to stay with the coach, you can stay in the program, but you also have the option to move up to a higher level and start operating on your own without all the support and hand holding and all of that.
Nice. So you guys have really dialed in. And how long did it take you to grow this whole thing?
Since May of 2020. I mean,
that's relatively quick.
I know, but Matt's been doing this for 13 years, right? So Matt's been, building his name. He's been building his relationships. Before the brokerage, they had a property management company. I forget how long they're building that for, but I would think like 3 to 5 years, give or take. And so all that stuff has been in the works since Matt was 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
And then, at May of 2020 is where we started growing and building out the brokerage.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you guys really got, your head on straight, and, you have your vision, where you're going, you have your plans and your stuff, and people are just like coming in droves. I mean, 150 agents in 2 years is pretty good.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Like I said, I like to think that we're like not even close to where we want to be, and we haven't even begun. And so I don't like to, it definitely is. We've accomplished a lot, and we've got so many great people around us that have helped us get here to this point. But I don't know. I know Matt views it this way too, but I just like to view it as like, hey, we haven't even started, and we've got so much more to do.
Yeah. So do you guys have like your big like vision goals? Like, hey, like we want to be this or whatever by this time, or where is kind of like the distant finish line? Like, what does that look like? Obviously it keeps moving because you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And that's the issue is there is no finish line. There's no like, this much money or this many agents or this, and we'll be satisfied, or we'll be, we'll stop doing what we're doing. I mean, I think we just love growing, and we just love building things, and we love building with people, and we love buying real estate. We love doing deals. The long-term vision is to be global. Long-term vision is to be the greatest real estate company in the world. when Elon Musk gets to Mars, we'll be on Mars too. And the goal is to build out the best place in the world for those who want to get the most out of real estate to come to. And we'll develop you, we'll develop with you, we will buy real estate with you, we'll do deals with you, we'll teach you how to achieve financial freedom through real estate. And that's the ultimate goal.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So do you guys then think that do you guys think that this whole movement in the I don't know, digital space, the metaverse type of issue with the digital real estate, do you guys think that this whole movement is going to be somewhere where you guys kind of ultimately go into as well?
We are, and we're making moves to get there right now and implement things within our business that operate off of the blockchain and operate off of NFTs and digital real estate. It's fairly new for me. Before, Matt's been talking about Bitcoin and the blockchain for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think in November was the first time I bought any like Ethereum or Bitcoin or anything. And since then, though, like I've been hooked and I've been consuming a ton of information on the blockchain and smart contracts and NFTs and everything, right? And I do believe it's the future, and I do believe that things are going there. And like my mind's like it's just firing all these ideas, and it's firing the potential of what all this stuff could be. And so we are making a move to have our brokerage operate certain things off the blockchain, to offer real estate for our entrepreneurs and for our TRE agents with fractional ownership, to where there's more liquidity. They can, because a lot of people, when they're starting to invest in real estate, they don't have 50 grand to buy a deal, right? So having the ability for all of our agents to put $50 into a deal and have that fractional ownership in this deal, and to be able to sell that when they don't want to be in it anymore, right? As opposed to being in it in the long run with us, we can't just go to our real estate account and sell some shares,
Right.
But if there is fractional ownership via the blockchain, we could.
Yep.
We want to offer some cool stuff via NFTs that are specific to our brokerage. I really love listening to Gary Vee and his ideas with NFTs and what he's implementing within his business and within his brand with NFTs. And we want to do something similar here at TRE.
I interviewed a guy who's doing syndications with blockchain. So talking to exactly what you're talking about. They got infrastructure set up, and I'll connect you guys, because I think you would definitely be interested in coming on your podcast. And
that'd be great. Yeah, we'd love
whatnot.
to, man. We'd love to.
He's a good dude. All right. So we're kind of nearing the end here, but I wanted to kind of just get a couple of like lightning round type questions in for you. And
let's go.
And so what's your favorite leadership quote?
My favorite leadership quote is that good is the enemy of great.
Good is the enemy of great. Okay. Any particular book that you would recommend?
I would recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, or The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay. You got kids, wife, and all that kind of stuff?
No kids.
No kids.
Girlfriend.
How old are you?
I'm 27.
27. You got time. It's okay.
Yeah, we want kids. We'll figure it out. But right now,
kids are a game changer, man.
No desire.
Kids will really get in the way of growing your business. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though you'll love them to death. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of work.
I can only imagine.
A lot of work. All right. What are you most curious about right now?
Uh, hmm. Most curious about right now, my big focus is kind of learning about the blockchain and NFTs and digital real estate in the future of how this will shape all these industries. And so like that's where I spend a lot of my time is when I'm at the gym or at night when going to bed. I listen to a lot of stuff about the blockchain and smart contracts and NFTs and all that stuff. I think it's possible. Tell me what you think. I think it's possible that the stock market no longer exists and things just operate off of coins. Like Tesla has their Tesla coin instead of going through all the regulation of the SEC and the stock market, and things just kind of shift. Everything shifts to the blockchain.
It's an interesting idea.
Why not? I mean, if there's so many odd Tesla coins out there, right?
Yeah.
And each coin is representative of this much ownership in Tesla, the company.
Mm-hmm.
Why could it not operate the same as a share of Tesla?
I think at some point, right? It might merge. Here's the thing: is they're like super similar, but they're different in a lot of ways, because I mean they appreciate like stock, right? They're not ownership of the company. Like they could be, but then you're going back to kind of like shares, just shares on the blockchain. Is that, I mean, I could see like the stock market like integrating with blockchain.
Well, that's what it is, right? I mean, that's what the coins are. It's
I don't know. I'm not a total expert, but I think there's a fundamental difference between having ownership in the company and like
what's the difference between a piece of paper and the coin?
I think it's just the coin doesn't represent ownership in the companies yet. Like
but a piece of paper didn't represent ownership in Tesla until it said ownership in Tesla, right?
That's true.
It's just a it's just a it's just something that says you have value in this, right? So I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the financial markets are eventually going to. I think it's going to shape a lot of different things in every industry. I mean, it's 24/7. Like I can at 3 p.m. today when the stock market closes down, I can still trade on Coinbase.
Yep.
Same on Saturday and Sunday. Same at midnight. I can send money to you via our Coinbase wallets instead of having to wait till 9 a.m. when my bank opens and send you a wire. I don't know. I just think I'm really interested in that.
So okay. So let me play devil's advocate for you for a second. So why would the owners of the companies want to?
No regulation.
Yeah, but do you really think that they're not going to regulate that?
I mean, that's the whole point, is that it's not regulated, right? And
yeah. Well, it's decentralized, right? Well, some of them are not. And like, okay, so Coinbase, for example, right? Coinbase isn't like necessarily like regulated, but it's also not really separated. So if you put your money in Coinbase, you have like access to. Go ahead.
I think you go to where the people are. Like if the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ or the Dow did not have the accessibility to all of these potential investors and to the public, then these companies wouldn't go to those exchanges either, right? They only go to these exchanges because that's the best way to raise capital. That's the best way to get the money. That's the best way to be accessible to this many people. And so that's the only reason that they go to the stock market in the first place, is because that's where the money's at. But if the money was elsewhere and more accessible in these other places, then why would they not go there?
Well, does it? I guess where I'm struggling is like, does it have to be an either or?
I don't think so. I was just throwing that out there. That was just a question I asked myself: is is the blockchain going to replace traditional stock market? That's what I've been thinking. It's just a question I've been asking myself
Yeah.
every couple of days. I don't
Well,
know.
I actually have not. I've never actually thought that was like a thing. So you kind of like you planted a seed that I'm now gonna like kind of think about a little bit because, and I'm trying to like talk through it and see. Okay, like not saying that it can't happen. I'm not saying that it won't happen. I have no idea. So my initial like reaction though is like, okay, well, could it? Like, what would that look like, and why would that happen, right? So okay, so the whys are it's more efficient, right? You can
Cheaper.
trade, yeah, you could. It's cheaper, right? You can trade whenever. Um, there's no, there's not as many. I don't know, like
Hoops to jump through.
yeah, it's you know it could be more seamless, and then from a company's perspective, right? Like maybe they don't have to give up ownership and like have board members vote, and maybe they're like people are okay with that. But
Yeah.
then, but then like if you were going to try to acquire a company, like one of the ways to do it, right, is you just buy all their stock. So if
Mm-hmm.
you get rid of the ownership like piece of it, right, or maybe the stocks become NFTs, and you just have to buy a certain number of NFTs, and then that's basically stocks are NFTs.
Well, I mean, I don't know the answer here.
Yeah, no, it's
There's
just
just a question I've been asking myself. But with Bitcoin, if there's, I don't know the number. I think it's 21 million. Uh, I believe so. If there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be in existence,
mm-hmm.
then if you bought more than half of, 10.5 million Bitcoins, then you would own the majority of Bitcoin, right? And so I would assume same concept here. You wouldn't want to have an endless amount, and you wouldn't want to have, the ability for these coins to be diluted by just infinite amount, right? So I don't know. It was just something I was thinking about.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that at
Well,
all.
you asked what I'm most interested in, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about is like, how does this play into what we're doing? I think that the blockchain and NFTs and smart contracts can be the catalyst. Because I mean, to be honest, like we've got very bold goals. We've got a very bold vision, right? And to be the best real estate company in the world. That's why I feel like we haven't accomplished even anything close to where we want to go yet.
Yeah.
And so to get to that level, I mean, it's going to take a lot, right? It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a big catalyst. We got to do something completely revolutionary. And I think that the blockchain, smart contracts, NFTs, and all this, by being ahead of the curve, I think that can be the catalyst to accomplish amazing things and to get us that much closer to our goals.
So who do you think is going to be like your biggest like competitor in the space?
I don't know. We don't specifically with what we do.
Yeah, like your
We don't really have many competitors, right? Like if you look at us from a traditional real estate brokerage sense, but we're not that. But if you did, you got KW's the largest real estate brokerage in the world. You got EXPs coming up right behind them. Compass, all these people, but uh, they don't do what we do. They're a real estate brokerage, but they don't specialize in finding deals. They don't specialize in teaching people how to invest in real estate. They don't invest with their agents. They're not building what we're building, and so we haven't really met anybody or seen anybody in the marketplace doing what we're doing. Um, but I don't know, I have no clue.
yeah. Well, just I mean, because that is a bold vision, and you need bold vision. We were talking, before we started recording about God visions and how when you and what is your true kind of like purpose for what is I guess what is the mission of your life, right? As I think everyone's purpose is to glorify the Father, but then like on top of that, right, like what are you going to like specifically do to do that? And a lot of people have. So I mean, if you're and I do really like your guys' approach. It's a serving based model where you're more focused on the agents, right? And cultivating the agents and building their thing up, right? And then teaching them the one thing that really matters, finding deals, right? And how, obviously there's a lot of intricacies with those and special deals and all that kind of stuff, right? Structuring them and that kind of thing. But yeah, I really like your guys' approach. So you're not necessarily trying to become a brokerage, you're trying to become the best at teaching people how to be entrepreneurs through real estate and on real estate.
Entrepreneurs, TRE capitalized.
On tree.
But you're right. I mean, we are a real estate brokerage, and all of us are real estate agents or real estate brokers. And it's one aspect of it, though. That's not all we are. That's
Right.
part of the in concept of our core focus. In and on is our core focus in real estate as an agent, a lender, a wholesaler, a flipper. Flipping real estate's a job, and on real estate through owning and investing, right? And so being a real estate agent and a real estate brokerage is just one portion of the end part of our core focus.
Do you guys invest in deals that aren't yours?
Yeah.
So if someone brings you like, hey, there's a multifamily project coming up. Or whatever,
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
gonna send you guys one. One just
Do
came
it.
across my desk a few hours ago.
That'd be great, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where are you at? You're in Cali?
Yeah, I'm in Newport.
We'd love to do some deals together somehow, some way. If you're ever interested in
I got this one right now. Here, okay. Here's a philosophical question for you. I'm sorry we're going long, but
No, we're good.
Yeah, if you need to stop me, just let me know. So there's this deal in San Juan Capistrano. Okay, it's they're asking for $4 million for this house. It's 6,100 square feet. It's on an acre in an equestrian zone. It's fully built out. It's in great shape. It's totally legit. The only problem with this deal is that it has this 1997 Spanish style, which is like, I don't know, I'm not a designer. So to me, it's like the house looks super good, little slice of Mexico or whatever, right? We're good to go. Like, let's just find a buyer for it and go. In this neighborhood, there's deals that have, gone for like 2.9 million. And then there's some deals that are like in the 5-6 million. But those properties are kind of a little bit bigger. And then like with 0.2 miles away in a different neighborhood, there's houses that are in the 10 million, different HOA, different neighborhood, whatever. So what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to find an investor who wants to come in and kind of like redo the Spanish style, I guess, and bring it up to more modern and then flip it. Cause they're saying that 4 million is kind of a deal based off of like some of these bigger comps out there. I'm having a hard time like bringing it to all of my investors and being like, okay, when I comped the property out, like, I didn't see it. Okay. Now my philosophical question is, so there was and maybe just to give a little bit more context, there was a deal in Corona del Mar where no one wanted this deal, and it just like wasn't the numbers didn't pencil or whatever. One guy, I think the home sat on the market for like a year and a half, and then one guy came in, tore the house down. He built up this super like nice house, but then he put like a rooftop deck, and he just like opened up like the entire view. So he came in with like a different like creative like solution. So the philosophical question is like, with that in the back of my mind, like, how do you position that type of deal, right, to people without bringing them a crappy deal, number one, right? Because if they, if you get them a deal and it goes south or whatever, right, they're going to look at you like, oh man, you bought me a bad deal, and then number two, like still like sell the deal, right? Because you still have an obligation to the owner, right, to get him a good price. And then at the third time, like, not limit someone's creativity, but still be honest about like where you're actually like thinking about the deal. So I don't know. I threw a lot at you right there, but does that make sense?
You're the listing broker.
I'm not the listing broker. So I have a friend who's like a friend mentor who's a listing broker. And the strategy was find an investor who wants to put some money into the house and then get it at a little bit of a discount, put some money into it, and then flip it on the backside for 5.5 million, 5 million, and then catch the listing on the backside as well.
Got it. I mean, is it a good deal?
That's my thing. From a certain perspective, no, I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
But I might not be the one who looks at it from a certain perspective to be like, yeah, actually, this could be a really good deal, right? Because all I really need to do is, paint the floors and it'll change everything. And, I only have to put in, $100,000 and I can change out the awnings. I can paint the house and this will look great. And I can take some new pictures and refresh it on the market and put it on and it's good to go. Like, I don't know, like from a full like gut and tear down, like, no, because you have to put $1.5 million into it. And if you get it for 4, then by that point you're at your ARV and things will probably sit.
Yeah.
So
what was your question? What was your question specifically?
The question, it's a philosophical question, right? Like as a real estate, like seller, broker, who's like finding all these deals, right? When you find a deal that you don't necessarily know is a good deal, but could be, right, given the right perspective or circumstances, how do you position that to your buyers, still get the good, good price, right? Without looking like, hey, sending me a bad deal. At the same time, I don't want to limit your creativity.
For sure. Like in my personal approach in doing so, typically I wouldn't vouch for anything that I didn't think was a good deal, but I'd say, hey, check it out. This is, if you are looking for opportunities, this is one that came up. Here's how I personally feel about it. Maybe good, maybe a good deal for you. You check it out. You decide.
Yeah. So you don't necessarily think like, because I feel like I've almost talked people out of the deal sometimes. I don't want to do that either.
I don't usually talk people out of deals. If it's a good deal. And I definitely wouldn't be in a position where I would be promoting a deal that I thought was a bad deal. But I mean, the truth of the matter here in Austin is that right now things are so crazy, and like what I wouldn't pay for something, somebody else is willing to pay, 50% more than I would. Right. And so at this point in the Austin real estate market, like who even knows what a good deal is? Like at this point, it's just like who's moving from Newport, California and wants to buy some Austin real estate.
That's exactly what it's like. Like the supply is so low. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I'm trying to understand it, and not, because people ask me like, what do you think? I'm like, well, I don't actually, it's really hard to comp this property because the values are all over the place.
Yeah. I'll tell the truth. I'll never lie to anybody. If somebody asked me, I'd say how I felt. And then if they didn't want to buy it, then they didn't want to buy it. Or if they didn't feel like it was worth digging more into, then whatever, that's up to them.
Yeah. Interesting.
I usually relate on the other philosophical side of that is that if I get upset, or if we like lose a deal because of this or this, or if this buyer didn't buy this deal because of this or this, I usually don't look at I do, but I don't hang my hat on like, what did we do wrong? Did I say too much and talk them out of it? My solution to that problem is more of, we don't have enough deals, or we don't have enough buyers. And so we need to go put this in front of more people. And if I had more buyers, if I had more deals, not only would I not be concerned about this one over here if I had 200 going on, but it's like I didn't do enough to get it in front of enough people, as opposed to this specific thing ruined all the possibilities for it.
So
Does that make sense?
yeah. So basically, you need to have a pipeline that's not anemic, and you need to have a fat buyers list where you can just send it if it's not for some people.
More in the pipeline, more buyers. And I think that's the solution.
Yeah, this one's just I don't know what it is about this deal, but like because the house is really sick, like it looks really good. I don't know. And like I'm seeing stuff from the other agent, and I'm just like, dude, like that's just like I don't know if that's true. Like it doesn't like
Yeah, well, probably not.
like I don't know. Like she's like one of the things was like it changed from like hold to expired, and she's like it just came on the market at 6 million, like this comp, and I'm like, it says expired. It's been sitting on the market for 280 days. Like what are you talking about? Like how am I wrong here? What am I not seeing?
Yeah, they're probably not. It's probably not the truth. And I mean, I think that people just, especially right now, I think people just have no clue what to do. Right? We had an appraiser. Where I'm sitting right now is in downtown Round Rock. This is just north of Austin. Great suburb. Ton of people live here. So much stuff to do. A lot of jobs. Dell is headquartered here. Great city, right? And I'm sitting here in downtown Round Rock. We own this duplex. Today, actually, after this podcast, we're buying another property here in downtown Round Rock. It's going to be our new office. And 2 days ago, the appraisal came back, and it was like way low. It was way lower than what we're paying for it. And so, of course, we tried to debate the appraisal. And the appraiser, he chose 3 comps. So where I'm sitting to, this is downtown Round Rock.
Okay.
This is not, some random neighborhood. This is downtown Round Rock, and downtown Round Rock is coveted, and it's a great place to be, and it's good real estate, and all Round Rock is good real estate, but this is more special. We're downtown, and it's also all zoned MU2, multi-use 2. So it's not just residential. This is MU2. We could tear this down, build 3 stories up, have commercial or residential up top, commercial down on the bottom, multi-use. And the appraiser, he chose 3 different houses in 3 different neighborhoods that are not even close to downtown Round Rock. They're all residential. And I told him, I was like, how can you come up with the opinion of value of this property for 3 strictly residential properties and horrible neighborhoods that are not in downtown Round Rock? And he said, well, I couldn't find anything similar. And like, hey, in 2015, this is what people were buying in downtown Round Rock, and your property doesn't meet that. It's like 2015, this is 2022.
7 years ago.
What are you talking about?
At least post-COVID, me, like
I know, and a lot has changed in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And you can't buy anything.
It's almost a decade.
I know. And so, I don't think people really even know what they're doing.
I would love to like get an appraisal on a property from 7 years ago comps. Like that would be phenomenal. Like, and buy that. Like, oh yeah, this property sold for $250,000 7 years ago. Like it's worth $1.5 million now, but hey, I'm confident.
Well, he wasn't talking about the values. What he was talking about was people's buying patterns. And so he was saying in 2015, your style of property sold for this much price per square foot less than these styles in downtown Round Rock. And it's like, okay, great point. We're in 2022 and you can't buy anything in downtown Round Rock. And if we threw this on the market, I guarantee we'd sell it for $550 and as is, not even touch it. And he is saying that, it was worth less than 400.
Dang.
But anyways, my point is I don't think people really know what they're doing. And like, there's a lot of incompetent people out there, and all listing agents are going to sell this property and tell you, use this expired listing as a comp, or, they're just trying to get the property sold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with the philosophical. Like, there's a really hard like cognitive dissonance in my like hit there about that. I'm just like, that's not true. Like, that comp sucks. Like it's sat for 280 days. I'm not going to send that to an investor who's going to look at that like I'm an idiot.
It's actually not a comp. It's an expired listing.
It's negative.
Right.
Because it's literally dropped. The house dropped from like 8 million to like under what they paid for it in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, dude, don't send, like, don't.
Send over whatever you got. Let us look at it. We'd love to.
I'll send it, man. If you can find something like cool to do with it, like
I'd love to at least have context of what you're talking about here.
Yeah. Here's something that's super interesting that I've positioned to a couple of different people that haven't really, I don't know if they've grasped it or not, but so that strategy that I was talking about earlier in the podcast, the deferred sales trust. So what's unique about that is that works for any sort of asset. So Bitcoin, real estate, primary homes, stock, doesn't matter, any asset, and you can diversify, whatever. So you can sell a primary home and you can put the proceeds into super conservative, like mutual funds and stocks or whatever. You can earn 8% and defer all the tax. So on this particular property, the guy bought the property for $1.85 million. And he's trying to sell it for $4 million. After all of his 121 exclusion and everything, he's got probably $650,000 in capital gains tax.
Mm-hmm.
If an investor were to go in with me, we could literally offer $3.7 million. And at the end of it, he would net $140,000 more than an offer of $4.2 million because of the deferral and the tax. And then on top of that, he's earning 8% on top of the money that he's saving. So if he wants to go buy a new house, he just pulls out enough for a down payment. And then money's so cheap right now that he can literally take a 5% difference at a 3% loan and earning 8% on his money. And he can pay the difference easily and still make a 5% increase. On top of that, the listing agent, I would offer a lower commission for the buyer, right? But I would give more to the listing agent. So the listing agent is going to come out with more money. The seller's going to net a bunch more money. The buyers are going to get a property at a way steeper discount, and they'll actually sell, and they'll actually be able to turn around and flip it and make some money. So like the whole thing's a win-win. Like, but people just like haven't like grasped that concept yet. And I'm like, you guys, like this is like really powerful for those types of properties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't know. Maybe I need to get better at like telling stories or something.
No, I think you're good. You just need more buyers.
Yeah, maybe.
You got two here in Austin.
I'll send it your way, man.
Yeah, send it
for
here.
Sure. I'll start sending you guys deals. But all right. Well, I know you got to get out of here because you got stuff to do. So I'll let you go.
All right, man. Well, it was great having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll get this sound bited and sent over to you guys. So
all right, my man. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks for listening to another episode of Kingdom Business. See you guys soon.
See you next time.
Yep. See ya.